It's Liberation Day in Rwanda, July 4, a public holiday as well. It commemorates the defeat of the previous Habyarimana regime and the Rwandan armed forces by the Rwandan Patriotic Front in the Rwandan Civil War, thus ending the Tutsi genocide in the country. On July 4, 1994, the RPF secured the capital Kigali, while the end of the war only became official on July 18 with the liberation of the Northwest Territories. Liberation Day takes place a week after Independence Day, although it is more of a celebration rather than the national mourning period for the Rwandan Revolution on Independence Day. I want to bring in our research, political analyst and writer Gatete Rumuriza to talk some more about this. Gatete joins us from the Rwandan capital, Kigali. Thanks for joining us on the program, and happy Liberation Day to you.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Why is this day so special for the Rwandan people?
This is the day where the RPF, the Rwandan Patriotic Front, led by Paul Kagame, stopped the genocide. For most people, they owe their lives to this day. This is a day where people were removed from ceilings of housing, from pit latrines, from swamps. Others were taking refuge in the very stadium that at the time was a much smaller stadium, now improved and doubled the size, about 45,000 people now. It used to receive around 25 before. So many people were saved from that stadium, which was surrounded by killers, as the RPF fought its way to enter the stadium and rescue people after the UN had abandoned them. So people look back 30 years to this day, and they know what their life was and what their life is now. So it's a critically important day indeed.
It must be, and it's coming amidst, commemoration of the genocide also. And I know that this period of time in Rwanda is a somber period of time because people remember loved ones whom they lost in the genocide. So how do Rwandans balance the act of commemoration as well as celebration?
The genocide stops today. So that's why it's also a very important day. The genocide stops today. The genocide that has been going on for 100 days, which in fact is the same period that we take to commemorate it. So it all ends today. The commemoration ends today with the liberation. So it's quite significant. And, it is, some people think with time you get to forget and move on, but the genocide, we still discovering new mass graves today. People are still coming forward to tell us things that they did not tell us during the Gacaca jurisdictions. And you have children who are being born with, intergenerational trauma. You have children who are asking where their grandparents are. They don't have grandparents. In fact, in Rwanda, it's a luxury to have a grandparent. So you have, the memory of the genocide is still vivid 30 years later. I didn't know this was possible, but in fact it is.
So how is the history told? I assume it is oral history that's been handed down from generation to generation. Is it rehashed every year?
Yes, but there's a positive history that's being told. The story that's being told is that there are no Hutus and there are no Tutsis. We are all Rwandans. We always were Rwandans for 1,000 years, as Rwanda was a nation state. Then by the year 902, the Belgians and the German colonialists came to Rwanda and started this policy that they did across Africa that's called divide and rule, divide and conquer. And that's when they created these ethnic groups and inscribed them on papers and so on, and favored one group over the other and bred hatred in one group against the other and so on. So the history that is taught to the people is the history of national unity, the unity that our country was founded upon 1,000 years ago. So it's not a history of hatred. It's a history of moving on with unity, people being together.
So let us in on how you're celebrating today, Gatete. What is usually, the order of celebrations in Kigali?
So usually we go early around 9 a.m. We go to the stadium and we have military parades. That's quite entertaining. And then after that, people go to celebrate within small groups. People find family. You know, genocide survivors have recovered new families. Some of them, most of them have married. Actually, probably all of them have married, have their own children, have in-laws. Because some people who are left alone, single, one person, have now new families. We go visit mothers who do not have children, whose children and husbands were killed, and so on. So it's a family event rather than, apart from the stadium event, we usually go and celebrate within families.
Yes, and interestingly, this year's celebration comes just 2 weeks before the presidential elections. Incidentally, President Paul Kagame, the liberator, is running again to be president. Now, while I understand the desire to acknowledge his efforts in liberating the country, does Rwanda have other heroes that are probably associated with the genocide, with liberation from the genocide, who they consider, just as important as President Paul Kagame?
Many heroes. In fact, every soldier that was part of the RPF on that day, who's still alive, even those who are dead, were decorated with a medal of stopping the genocide. You have civilians who contributed. You have figures, political figures like Mwalimu Nyerere of Tanzania. In Rwanda, you even have people who are considered at the time Hutu, who hid their Tutsi who are being hunted down. Hutus who saved Tutsis have also been decorated. We have many heroes. We have many living heroes among us, and most of them are our fathers. We are the next generation, but all our fathers did participate in either stopping the genocide or rebuilding the country, or both.
Indeed. I'm sure you cherish those memories and, the oral history that's been told by your parents. Speaking of the election, Gatete, President Kagame says at his campaigns this year that he will do what Rwandans want of him. He's made no promises to Rwandans. So have the people made any demands of him yet?
Yes. The people demand of him that to end poverty as soon as possible. The people demand of him. I mean, Rwanda, like I said, people don't report this or know this a lot, but Rwanda is 1,000 years nation state. What happened? The genocide happened because the leaders of the time did not observe leadership as it's supposed to be done in Rwanda. But Paul Kagame fulfills what we demand of him. We want peace, we want security, we want unity, and we want progress. In fact, in Rwanda, if you look historically, when economic growth is going up, there is stability and unity and peace, just like possibly in many countries, in fact. And when we have economic crisis, that when we have corruption, that if we see politicians who are corrupt and so on, these are things that Rwandans cannot tolerate. And yeah, we have many demands for him, and the next 5 years, we expect extreme poverty to end completely, and poverty to be at the minimal, lowest level. This is our expectations. My expectations, at least, to the president.
Now, before I let you go, Katete, I just have to ask, what's a special menu for today?
My menu, what I'm going to eat.
Right.
I'm a Rwandan gentleman. We don't speak of food. I can tell you what I'm going to drink.
Okay, no drinking, just food. Thanks again, Katete. Happy celebrations.
You're welcome.